Hi you guys, welcome to my channel. Today I want to talk to you about a very sensitive topic, and that is the problem that there exists in the world between black and white. The fights that there always is between black and white. And not just black and white, but also people fighting with their fathers, mothers, brothers, sisters, anybody, colleagues at work. I just want to read for you something out of the Bible. And this is in Matthew 22, where Jesus said to him, "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. This is the great and first commandment. And the second like it, you shall love your neighbor like yourself." So if I ask the question to 1,000 people, do you love God? I'm sure everybody, or at least 990 of them, will put up their hands and says, yes, we do love God. But then if I ask them, do you love your neighbor, or your father, or your mother, your sister, or whoever you have a hassle with, most people will not put up their hands. So then I have to ask myself this question. How is it possible that you say that you love God, but there's someone else in the world that you don't love? Because if we look at the commandment that Jesus gave us, he said, we should love God with all our hearts, and we should love everybody else like we love ourselves. And a very big problem that we're sitting with is, if I'm going to ask the question, if you love your neighbor, and your neighbor is a different color than you, well, I can promise you that the most people that everybody has a problem with is usually their neighbors. I don't know why it's like that, but usually most people doesn't come along with the neighbors. Maybe they have parties every weekend, or parties in the week, or loud music, or a dog that's barking. There's lots of reasons, but most of the people in the world really doesn't love their neighbors, if you think about that. But now if a neighbor is black, then you somehow don't like him just because he's black. You don't have any excuse. He's not doing anything wrong, but you just don't like him because he's black. And that is where the problem comes in with black and white, that's always fighting. You know, if we're actually thinking about it, it's actually a commandment that God gave us to say that we must love one another. And that is what we must do at the end of the day. We can't just make the decision to cut this piece out and say, no, I'm not going to love blacks because they are black, or I'm not going to love whites because they are white. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't matter what color you are, you should love one another. You know, I've seen this thing on my phone the other day of black pastors and white pastors who's fighting about the color of God, and it was so funny for me, because the white person says no, God is white, and the black person says no, God is black. And now I want to ask this question, and I want you to think very nicely about this. Let's say you are white and you get to heaven and God is black. Are you then going to turn around and walk away and say, no, I'm not going in because God is black? And if you are black and you get to heaven and God is white, what are you going to do then? Are you going to turn around and walk away and say, no, I'm not going in because of this white guy standing at the gate? Or what will happen when you go to hell at the end of the day and you are black and the devil is white? Or when you are white and the devil is black, what are you going to do then? Because by then you can't just change your mind and say, okay, now, now I don't want to go to hell. Let me rather go to heaven because that guy is black as well. Maybe it will be better there. Or, no, it's too late. It's too late then. You should do it now. You should change how you feel about black and white now. I just want to read for you another thing out of the Bible quickly. In Genesis 1, it says, now listen to this. God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created them. So this tells us that God created us in his image. And I've read that piece over and over, and nowhere there is a God created man in his color. It's nowhere in the Bible. It didn't say that God created man, white man. Nowhere there is a God created black man. It said God created man in his image. So I have to ask you this question. Is black man human? Yes. Is a white man human? Yes. So what is the fight all about? Because at the end of the day, we are all human. We are all the same. We have these movements of Black Lives Matter. Things like that shouldn't even exist. It should always be all life matter, because that's what it is. We are all the same. Everybody's life is the same. There's nothing a black lives matter or white lives matter or what. We are all the same, and every life matters. So the slogan should always say all life matter. Doesn't matter what your color is or whatever. It just shows you people who moves in that direction to say white lives matter or black lives matter or farmers lives matter. That's racist, I think. Or for me, that's wrong. I mean, everybody is created the same in God's image, and we should all be treated the same as God created us. He didn't create us to be black or to be white. Yes, He did change the way we look and the way we speak and our languages. When He punished us again. But that is the reason why we speak these different languages. It's got nothing to do with anything else. Doesn't mean that someone is baboons or other ones are donkeys or whatever. We are all humans. We are all the same at the end of the day. And yeah, we can laugh about it and joke about it, but at the end of the day, this thing of black and white is going to keep lots of people out of heaven, because we are fighting about nonsense. We're fighting about things that could be easily sorted out. Let's say you take two white men, they have a problem. They just go to each other, shake hands, talk about it, say what, there it's finished, forgotten. But when it's white and black, they must kill each other before someone will say, yeah, now I'm sorry, you know, he's dead. And you can't change it now. We should really start and do what God is telling us to do, to love one another. I mean, if you look at humans, if you cut them open, inside they're all the same. Everybody's got red blood, and everybody's got a heart and a liver and kidneys, and everything looks the same. It's only the skin that's different. So we would stop looking at the skin and look deeper to people's hearts and how people behave. I mean, obviously everybody's not the same. You get bad black people, you get bad white people, you get good white people, you get good black people. But everybody is not the same. So maybe one day you'll have a fight with a black person. Doesn't mean that all black persons are bad. Or someday you're going to have a fight with a white person. Doesn't mean that all white persons are bad. But there's things that happened in the past and things that's still happening today that make people choose to go to hell at the end of the day, because that's what we're doing. If we don't love our neighbor like we love ourselves because of something stupid, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but okay, something like that, and choose to go to hell because of that. Now, my friends, I really think we should sit down and think very deeply about this. I really hope that this message get to some people and it helps some people to realize that we must just start loving one another. Just think how wonderful it will be in the world if we can just all love each other and no fighting and things like that. It will be so amazing. And I see I get some views on this channel. I have a few views, not millions, but I do have some views, but I've only got like 8 subscribers. So I'd really like if you guys could subscribe to this channel, and maybe one day you'll hear something that you like. I've made a promise when I started for a pastor that I would not just say anything and just to say something. I will say what God wants me to say. I will make sure that God gives me the message that I want to say, and that I'll try and bring it out so that you guys can understand it, and always try to say the right thing and not wrong things to cause people to walk the wrong way or whatever can happen. So please, would you guys subscribe to this channel and like it and share it, and comment if you have something to say. I would like to hear what you guys think of the things that I'm saying. If it's a bad comment, it's good. I would like to have the bad comments as well, so that I know what I can change to be better or to do better, so that I can get more subscribers, so that I can reach more people at the end of the day. I hope you guys have a wonderful week full of miracles. God bless you. Goodbye.